Hello everyone, investment scams rampant. Please vigilant and discerning. Do not trust information from unknown sources. Please make sure recognize two official Capital Securities community, Facebook, Capital Securities, YouTube, Capital Wealth Insights.
Hello everyone, welcome to Shunyi Good Night. Today is February 19th. I'm Huang Peng Rai. Yesterday, we talked a lot about the current situation and some investment opportunities under the tech giants, which we introduced. We also talked about possible directions after studying policies, as well as a few companies within the AI supply chain. So today, we're going to talk about companies outside of AI. First, let's look at how the cornerstone of American physical sovereignty is being established and which companies are benefiting from the revival of industrialization. All right, so we can see that the current investment trend is shifting from virtual to real assets. The real world is actually much more complex. In the digital world, we might need AI computing power. But in the physical world, we need more urban energy, materials, transfer, and control, as well as logistics resilience, and so on. We're going to introduce 5 companies. Just like yesterday when we introduced 5 companies, today we'll introduce 5 more. Today, we're introducing material companies like Souls and ATI. At the same time, in terms of efficiency and operations, we have VIC and RRX. Lastly, for precision and resilience, there's SITM. We'll take a look at each one. So first, how should the United States approach physical sovereignty? What's the first thing? It's manufacturing. He said manufacturing needs to fight for greatness. Actually, what we're seeing now is a unique phenomenon. Many countries are shifting their development focus from manufacturing to the service industry. Why are they making this shift? Because the service industry tends to cause less pollution and has much higher added value, and the returns are relatively good as well. And as for the service industry, it's just one example. In the industrial chain, the service sector tends to occupy a relatively higher position, but it's still somewhat intangible and elusive. When it comes to its impact on the economy or its ability to stimulate employment or even, maybe, it's actually not that helpful for large-scale employment. So right now, the US wants to promote manufacturing, and a lot of things need to be done domestically. Actually, this is also the case with Boeing. With the current wave of deglobalization, people are paying more attention to the security of supply chains, and a lot of things have to be done in-house now. But when it comes to things like fiber optic minerals or certain types of energy, well, that's a different story. The hope is to break free from the influence of foreign powers. This is actually the trend for future development, and it's very clear. In the future, and for quite a long time, this will remain a clear direction for development, which also brings us many corresponding investment opportunities. So what key indicators does U.S. manufacturing account for? That would be the ISM Manufacturing Index, the ISM Services and Manufacturing Index. And to add, actually since 2025, the manufacturing index hasn't changed significantly, but starting in 2026, the manufacturing index begins to rise above 50. Overall, you can gradually see that expectations for industrial manufacturing or the overall outlook are slowly improving. Going forward, you can see that the manufacturing index is likely to consistently stay above 50. Industrial production data shows no major fluctuations, with monthly growth steady at 0.3%, so there are no obvious trends. Currently, the key reference is U.S. manufacturing. Looking at the ISM Manufacturing Index subcategories reveals even more detail. When it comes to prices, there haven't been any significant changes, but both new orders and employment have been growing together. So it looks like the U.S. manufacturing sector is showing signs of a gradual revival. Against this backdrop, not only are people relatively optimistic about its future prospects, but there has also been real growth in both the workforce and new orders. This is actually quite significant. Are there investment opportunities here? All right, so first, let me introduce the first company. Its full name is SAL, or Source Ties Advanced Materials. So what does this company do? Actually, it does a lot of things. It was only spun off from Honeywell last October. In other words, they took its most valuable departments and spun them off to go public independently. So as you can imagine, the company's structure is very solid. In the past, if you wanted to invest in this company's business, you could only buy Honeywell stock. But now you can bypass Honeywell and invest directly in something even better. Isn't that a much better option? All right, so first of all, this company is involved in refrigerant applications. Have you ever thought about it? If refrigerants were suddenly unavailable, it would have a huge impact on the world. So with these refrigerants, their global warming effect is basically negligible, almost zero. That's why a lot of countries have regulations now. Mainly in Europe, East Asia, and the United States, they have strict regulations. Basically, whenever you want to use any kind of refrigerant, you have to use the new types because the older ones could contribute to greenhouse gases, which is much less of an issue with the new ones. The difference is huge, so this gives them a regulatory advantage. Things like electric vehicles, green buildings, and even data centers all need these new refrigerants. And these new refrigerants are supplied by SOL, so that's one of their advantages. That's a big advantage. But in addition, they're also involved in electronics and specialty materials. Right now, they have the only conversion facility of its kind in the entire US. And at the same time, as we all know, the US is now ramping up its development efforts. So this month, they announced that they're expanding production by 20%, and the investment should be over $2 billion. Next up is this. Some of their materials, especially in the chip manufacturing sector, are really impressive. For example, they have a fiber that's even stronger than steel, and this fiber is used in bulletproof vests. They're also used in armored vehicles and power cables, which are in high demand and absolutely essential. Next up is this. In the chip manufacturing process, they supply ultra-high purity chemicals. This is a big plus, especially with the resurgence of chip manufacturing in the US and the benefits from Made in America initiatives. You can see that in looking further into it, they have a lot of different fields. The first is refrigerants, then chemical conversion, and next up is this. Their advanced fibers are impressive. They can be used in bulletproof vests as well as in better computers or armored vehicles. Then there are the ultra-high purity chemicals for chip manufacturing. Basically, it's like having a bunch of different things all under one company. Okay, each of these products looks really outstanding. Especially in the areas of chemical conversion and refrigerant technology, they basically have no competitors, so they have strong pricing power and control over the market cycle. They can regularly report financial results to investors, so their performance is strong and their stock price surges. As for what's next, since the four companies only recently went public, this means that there isn't much information available at the moment, mainly because they just went public in the third quarter. During the third quarter, there were a lot of expenses, which suppressed their profit performance. However, this profit suppression will either remain the same or gradually disappear by 2026, since after going public, you no longer have those one-time costs or similar expenses. There are also spin-off costs, so the performance in 2026 will be significantly better than in 2025. Looking ahead, we also know that its defense-grade gold chips and related markets have a lot of potential. But there are also significant risks, especially regarding the market size. As for the refrigerant, it's a very tangible business. Due to regulatory restrictions, the old ones can't be used anymore, so you have to use the new ones. So each of these areas is tied to a strong theme, and also, given that its direction is also very promising, everyone can keep an eye on this company's future performance. Next, let's talk about this company. ATI, the High Performance Material Specialist Supplier. This company specializes in producing materials that can withstand extreme environments. What do we mean by extreme environments? We're talking about high temperatures, high pressure, and high corrosion, these kinds of special metals and alloys. But as of now, its main division focuses on high-performance materials and components, which are the core profit drivers. This division produces titanium alloys, nickel-based alloys, and precision components. Its clients include Rolls-Royce and companies under RTA like Rivian, among others. They are their suppliers. So what we're saying is that these products are now mainly used in airplanes, and also the demand in aerospace is extremely robust. Right now, the development in the aviation sector is booming. Currently, for this company, the profit margin from this segment is at a record high in both directions, and it continues to grow. In addition, it also has electronic sports alloys and other products that will drive its future growth. AAS mainly produces special stainless steel cores, which can serve a wide range of downstream customers, including energy, chemical processing, national defense armor, and so on. This segment allows ATR to deepen its customer base and provides a growth engine or growth potential with explosive potential. Starting this year, actually, you could say that in the US, there will be a lot of nuclear energy transfers, and many different types of energy will also be very active. So in this sector, we'll gradually see even more hardcore explosive growth, and the leverage is also relatively high. Recently, they have introduced the latest legislation, and with this new legislation, they have raised this year's EBITDA target to $1 billion. The main reason is that their core business has always been very stable, which is the production of aircraft and missiles. Next up is this part. Indeed, the business is growing very happily and steadily. Next, when it comes to high strength and tough titanium alloys, it's not that easy to manufacture them. Their smelting and forging processes require the accumulation of several types of technical expertise. So what about their integration capabilities? This is why Western countries rely on them, because only a handful of countries and companies have this capability. In the West, only a few have this ability, and ATI is one of them. On another note, speaking of ATI, in recent years, they've been transforming some of their products and even the company's overall structure. In the past few years, they exited the first round of the stainless steel market and transformed into a company focused on high profit margins and advanced technology. So now what they do is focus on these high-tech, high-profit products. All right, so as of now, that's basically what ATI is doing. They make a lot of these alloys, and for example, if an engine requires 7 types of alloys, they produce 6 of them, and for 5 of those, they're the only manufacturer. So this shows their position. Their industry standing is still very high. They have a lot of long-term contracts, of course. They can also directly co-develop products with their clients. You can see that it's the only fully integrated supplier of 2,000-gram alloys, able to produce different types of alloys and manufacture various parts, and it's also the leader in cold and warm forging. At the same time, they also have these long-term and very large contracts, so they have control and take the biggest share. For subsequent processing, everyone can just do the finishing work directly. It's that kind of company. You might not usually notice it, but that's not the case. It's actually one of the few companies in the US with this kind of capability. You can see from their business model that their products have a wide range of uses, mainly engines as well as airplanes and defense. You can tell these are pretty hardcore and essential needs, and there's a growing market for them. So basically, this company, its future development and outlook are relatively stable. ATI stock price has also been pretty good, with slow and steady growth. So if you're a relatively conservative and steady investor, ATI is actually worth considering because its position is very solid and the barriers to entry are high with a strong moat and all that. It's basically a formula for investing and getting stable returns. All right, so with that, let's talk about this. BICR. So what exactly does BICR operation do? Its main focus is designing and manufacturing high-density power modules. Its value lies in being able to achieve this with a smaller size, and it delivers higher conversion efficiency. At the same time, it generates less heat. That means the power conversion and operation can run more smoothly. There are also 3 main core engines. The first is this high voltage distributed power architecture. You might think high voltage electricity is relatively dangerous, so why would you want to distribute or allocate power to many different places? Well, that's where you need certain technologies and standards. In this case, Visor Corporation is actually the company across the street, Linda Corporation. Now, as we all know, in AI data centers or any place that requires high density power, it's inevitable that you have to increase the voltage first and then distribute it. Currently, the main application is still in AI. You can see that NVIDIA and other AI chip companies have fully adopted this 48-volt power supply. So what they're actually using is Visor's technology. So what can Visor's technology do now? It allows the processor to basically perform direct power conversion, which helps reduce transmission losses. In other words, with this converter, you basically don't need to send the power out and then convert it back in anymore. Now it can be converted directly, so you can use their technology. This can significantly reduce losses and greatly improve efficiency. All right, and there are also other fifth generation power supply packaging methods. Remember, this DPD is vertical power delivery, which can solve the problem of supplying extremely high currents. Currently, this technology has already entered mass production. The main advantage of this technology is that it allows the AI chip's power supply and data to be separated, which improves efficiency. Third, looking ahead, it has further development potential, and it also holds a lot of intellectual property rights. So, how will it make money in the future? Well, it plans to. The IP can generate revenue through licensing fees and enforcement rights. Right now, they can also win patent infringement lawsuits, which means they are definitely focused on this area. And they can have exclusivity and so on. All of these things can actually be converted into real income. So this year, they could break through the $300 million mark. And the thing is, you can get this money without having to do anything else at all. So in this situation, it is almost all possible to get $300 million, and your gross margin would definitely be 100%. And this way, the company's profit structure can be greatly optimized. To be honest, the effect is significant because he also mentioned that his company's future lies in being a leader in the field of separate power supply for recognition and how to IPU this. So moving forward, he wants to focus more on collecting royalties and licensing fees. The approach is to move in that direction. Don't do it yourself, just collect the money directly. Let's take a look at how this space works. Basically, there might be a power source with very high wattage, and after it's converted by the visor, it can become a more suitable current for now, and then supply power to whatever you need. But once the market is established, there will be a higher level budget, possibly for AI centers, private AI centers, automotive applications, space data centers, and even national defense. So this topic could also involve things like aircraft carriers and other advanced technologies. As for the applications of this technology, the total addressable market it can serve will grow from $5 billion in 2023 to $11 billion by 2028, meaning the market size will more than double over 5 years. And the company's stock price has also managed to maintain a very stable trend as a result. Since this company is one that you might not pay much attention to, the products it provides are actually highly technical and have a significant barrier to entry. It's not something that's very visible or flashy, so moving forward, everyone could pay attention to how it forms the backbone of the industry. It looks like it will continue to rise, possibly if it will have periods of upward movement, then some consolidation, but it won't really drop. So actually, everyone can consider getting in during those dips. You might want to plan your entry if the timing and price range seem relatively appropriate. As for this level, okay, next up is R's. So what is the formula for R's? It's the muscle and joints that drive modern industry. Chemically, it mainly provides a lot of traditional power and control solutions. It makes some of the moving parts of machinery operate, and it does so very efficiently. In the beginning, it started out making motors. The core value in Nord Motor is that over the past few years, it has made a lot of strategic acquisitions, like acquiring Obama Motor, as well as companies specializing in traditional transmission systems and even software or integrated solutions. So basically, it's become an all-in-one provider of motors, bearings, and software. Oh, it's a supplier for this round of transmission devices. So what about the structure? In the year 2025, that is. According to the full year announcement, the industry was abuzz because their orders broke through $735 million, and in the next 2 years, it's expected to grow to a billion-dollar scale. All right, so you can see the overall appeal. With the smooth expansion of A, how do you control the heat in these data centers? So they'll have relatively good bearings and components like that, which can also help reduce some idle noise as well as your heat output. At the same time, there are also high efficiency electric fans and power management systems, so this is where they really focus their efforts. In addition, they also have a strong presence in robotics and automated warehousing because you can say that these robots require a lot of bearings and joints. Main machines include robotic arms and transport robots. They also make precision shafts and braking systems, essential for robots to perform precise movements. With a company like this, you're well positioned. You won't see it in many places, but you'll find its traces in many products. In other words, whether it's different robots, robotic arms, or AI, if you want your operations to run more smoothly, reduce power consumption, and be more efficient, that's exactly the area where RSK excels. So how does this thing actually work? It provides different gears and bearings, and this is the mechanism that enables conversion. It's in these relatively inconspicuous parts that the magic happens. This gives you the effect of getting twice the result with half the effort. It really helps you work more efficiently. As of now, it's like this. Currently, its orders are booked through 2027. One of its advantages is its long history and experience. It also offers customization, has strong relationships within its supply chain, and can provide a wide range of services, among other things. They also continue to invest in their product lineup and technology. Later on, if a company like this has big ambitions, its applications can actually be very broad because this kind of thing is needed in many areas, including, as we mentioned, data centers, energy, and some industrial manufacturing, as well as aerospace and aviation, and even in the medical field, their products are used. To put it simply, this company can fully benefit from the industrial renaissance. And in different industrial sectors, it can help operations run more smoothly, essentially achieving a more robust outcome. So, in this sense, it's like providing relief to the muscles and joints. So, looking at it, if this company, what I want to say is, if industrialization is really happening and the manufacturing sector is truly recovering, RS will have a pretty big advantage. Yeah, you could say RS's stock price has shown a clear performance this year, and its stock price has been relatively strong, so everyone can wait for a pullback or look for a better timing. Like when the price starts to consolidate, that could be a good time to start building a position. All right. Next up, this company is also pretty unique because they make timers and time controllers. You might think this company sounds kind of boring, like there's nothing really impressive about it, but actually, these products are really important. And that's because it's the foundation of everything. Human civilization today is built on time in so many ways, and a lot of beliefs or systems are based on calculation. And you see, they all need time as a reference dimension. The importance of time is actually increasingly underestimated in our society. Just imagine, if there were no concept of time, our society would probably be in total chaos. So time is actually a relatively important measurement function, and a lot of things require this kind of measuring tool. The second company is C-Times, which mainly develops timing solutions for micro electromechanical systems as a semiconductor company. So why is this company special? Because traditional timing uses quartz crystals, but quartz is easily affected by external factors, very easily. As a result, its performance can deteriorate. But if you use silicone instead, you'll find it works just fine. In many situations, its timing performance won't be affected at all. It operates based on base station and satellite timing. It's not like S5C and so on. Right. So basically, this means that by replacing the old timing methods, it can significantly improve on the shortcomings of traditional timers, which often didn't work well or couldn't be used in many situations. Now, it can be applied in a lot more places. It delivers very stable and reliable performance, but one of the advantages of silicon is that the price of this SITM is actually very important because if you don't have timing, a lot of people won't be in sync and things could crash. All right, so this February, you announced just this month that you're going to acquire the timing business of the Japanese company Ricoh on a revenue per month basis. With this acquisition, it can actually achieve leapfrog growth. Its external growth means that its product portfolio can expand tenfold while also gaining more than 10,000 enterprise customers. At the same time, this allows the company to become a leading provider of timing solutions, offering a wide range of products, including Class 1 ICs, timers, oscillators, and more. Currently, its main source of revenue still comes from AI and data centers, specifically DED. Currently, its projected revenue for 2025 has a YoY of 160, which means annual revenue growth of 160%. That's a very high level. As we know, AI clusters require precise timing synchronization, and they also need signals that are relatively unaffected by interference. This parking technology can provide that. It can withstand significant vibrations and changes, something quartz simply can't do. At present, actually, this company is also the only choice for many extreme environments. So basically, if you want to operate in a lot of extreme environments or in new types of environments, as long as you use SIT, whether it's for drones or commercial aerospace and so on, you really have no choice but to use their best products. It's basically a monopoly. That's the feeling you get right away. All right, so its technological advantage is obvious because compared to quartz, it's 20 times better and its stability is 30 times higher. This gives them a huge moat in areas like autonomous driving, meaning that for drones, self-driving cars, and military applications, they all need SITM products. And then there are networks, semiconductors, AI data centers, and so on. We all know that GPUs are important and that connectivity is important. We know GT is important, but we rarely pay attention to the fact that time synchronization is actually crucial too, in terms of measurement. And it's about precise timing and measurement, but it's something most people tend to overlook. So this is also one of their advantages in manufacturing. Very few people are paying attention to it right now. If we notice it, we'll have more information and more investment options to choose from. If you talk about price deepening, it's actually something, even though it might sound a bit boring, it's the cornerstone of AI infrastructure, and it's also the foundation for the revival of manufacturing, because no matter how many uses we discussed the other day, they all still require precise timing. Whether it's applications in apartments or manufacturing production, you still need precise timing. So for this company, the blueprint ahead is limitless. That day, he actually said that AI, compute, and networking, well, right now, things are developing extremely rapidly, and there are a lot of issues, like with this for high-speed transmission, you might need relatively low jitter and low latency. Then under high temperatures, or if you have a lot of noise, or if you have a lot of in different supply chain environments, how do you maintain good performance? Correspondingly, each device will have its own commonly used solutions. So you could say that under this kind of precise synchronization, it's almost the only choice. It's a good analysis. He said, actually, within the 4 major villages, you might wonder where exactly it can be used, but actually it can be applied in almost all kinds of places. And in the AI rack, there are plenty of areas where it can be used. This oscillator also appears in different places, and in the context of AI, there's the step with the 2 weapons, and then there are also connections between servers, as well as between servers in this switch. Even the price switch has these key points, these points of focus. And even at the connection points, there are still these, at both ends of the transfer, you still need it to oscillate for synchronization and precise timing. So you can see that these detached products are now at the core of every field in the future of treatment. So as long as there is capital expenditure, or as long as there is industrialization, or as long as there is development and manufacturing, there will always be CTOM's products present, wherever they are needed. Currently, offline, CTOM's stock price is trending upward. In this way, it's actually relatively stable, and what they make is relatively unique, but in this specialized field, they do it very well. Although this product might not get much attention and is more niche, you can actually observe the direction this company is heading. In the future, this company is expected to show a steady upward trend. And with the future development of industry, there will be even more opportunities. That's all for today. There are also some company insights to share. Thank you all for watching.
Our company has no improper financial interests in the individual securities recommended or analyzed. The information in this program is for reference only. Investors should make independent judgments, evaluate carefully, and bear their own investment risks. If you don't want to miss the latest market updates, Be sure to turn on the notification bell and hit subscribe. In addition, we have plenty of great video content on both Facebook and YouTube. Don't miss out. In our group, we share in-depth explanations of global financial events with you every day.